Hello, this is Dr. Martha Lucas, research psychologist and practitioner of Chinese medicine, also known as an acupuncturist. And you are listening to my podcast, 10 Minutes of TCM Training, the show that helps you build your practice 10 minutes at a time. And for you who are a patient of an acupuncturist or someone who is just curious about acupuncture and Chinese medicine, during my podcasts, I explain what happens during your treatment, how Chinese medicine works, and just in general about how the medicine can help you be a happier, healthier person. You can listen to my podcasts on my YouTube channel, Dr. Martha Lucas, also on Anchor and Spotify. And remember, Chinese medicine is a medicine, not a mystery. So your practitioner is able to explain to you exactly how Chinese medicine works for you. Today's episode is about, the unhappy customer. So let's say you have a customer, you have a patient, in this case, an acupuncturist, who is not satisfied with their results. And it's almost going to happen to everyone, no matter how exceptional you feel like your customer service is, or how you try to make every customer's experience exceptional. There are going to be people who are critical or who are dissatisfied. So I want to talk about what you can do in this landscape of someone who is not as happy as you would like them to be with the results of their treatment. So, and it's unfortunate, but it's pretty unavoidable. I feel really, really blessed that I think one time in my entire over 20 years of practice, I've had to deal with an angry Chinese medicine customer. Otherwise, it's usually something like, oh, those 3 treatments of acupuncture didn't work to treat my 20 years of back pain. Now, I say that in jest because that's generally how it goes, is the person has back pain, it's been with them forever, or they've had back surgery and their back pain got worse. They come in, they'd like it to be gone in 1 treatment, really, but my smallest package is 3 treatments. So usually I get that, but that person usually isn't angry. They're usually just more, oh, thanks a lot, but acupuncture doesn't work. And for those of you who know me, that phrase, acupuncture doesn't work, is something I would love to just completely take out of the English language, because acupuncture does work. What doesn't work is the patient. Chinese medicine, acupuncture works, but for things like pain, very often it takes more than 1 treatment. And if your practitioner is only treating the pain, like only treating the shoulder, then it's not going to work very well either. The person is going to be back, because in Chinese medicine, we have to treat the cause of the pain, not just dry needle or acupuncture or trigger point needle, that particular muscle, which does help get oxygen and blood in there. But at any rate, all right. So one of the reasons I wanted to do this podcast about dealing with a customer who's dissatisfied is, that I don't want us to fear an angry customer. We want to be able to build better relationships with customers and continue to be in kind of a growth mindset. So let's talk about, some people think of complaints as a gift, right? The person gives you insight into maybe what could have been better, how you could deliver a better value, how you explain the procedure maybe. So let's talk a little bit about, first of all, listen to the customer. So, there's active listening and passive listening. And active listening is listening to everything the customer is saying so that you can clearly understand why they are upset. Okay, passive listening is more like you just keep absorbing the message. And remember, you do not want to take this personally. So it's best if you active listen to them. You can even repeat what they are saying to you. Don't interrupt them, but show them that you are listening by paraphrasing whatever their complaint is. Now, sometimes, it's good to apologize, just acknowledging a mistake or acknowledging maybe it's a communication misunderstanding, and letting them know that, I'm sorry for the inconvenience, or I'm sorry that your experience was a little bit frustrating, something like that. Let them know that you understand their frustration. And, at this point, you could offer a brief explanation. For example, I just want you to remember that in the explanation for this treatment, we talked about, et cetera, et cetera. And then, it's not a bad idea to show a little empathy, which means you agree with them. You truly understand them. You can relate to them. We've all probably been an unhappy customer before. So we show them that we are listening and we have respect for their opinion. And always, 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 of course, keep your professional demeanor, very important, and maintain a calm tone of voice. Especially if someone is angry, we're very, very tempted to match their tone of voice. It's almost a natural procedure, but avoid that. Okay. Matching an angry voice of someone is only going to worsen the situation. So, don't copy their tone of voice, respond very calmly, keep your voice even. If this isn't like they come into your office angry and you have time to kind of prepare your response, that's good too, because then you won't have any aggressive language in it. You can just do a fresh response to them with a calm voice. Always make sure you use their name. That way they feel more listened to. You remember, you know this old saying that a person's name is the sweetest and most important sound in any language. So just make sure you use their name when you're responding to them. Not a lot. You don't want to constantly be saying Mary, 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 Mary. But, somewhere in your response, make sure that you tell them, Mary, I understand what you're talking about. That sort of using their name. And then we want our customers to trust us, right? We want our patients to trust us. Well, chances are, especially with an angry customer, somebody who feels like the treatment didn't work, I don't know, they may still trust you. They may still say, I know that acupuncture works. It just happened to not work so well for me. But an angry customer, probably the trust between you and him or her has been a little bit damaged. And it's important to try to maintain that trust or rebuild it moving forward. So if you do feel like you've made a mistake, that's okay. You're just going to have to work a little harder to repair that relationship. But, again, it's always starting out that showing a difficult customer that you care and you understand the problem. That's the first thing, right? Then be honest and transparent, give them maybe a behind the scenes view of things, or, remind them again how you did explain the procedure before you started. You explained what the possible results could be. You do your best to explain things, and maybe you can actually get them to empathize with you because they have probably tried to explain things to other people or maybe even their own customers. And don't be afraid to say, let me find out for you, or I don't know the answer to that right away. Let me check for you. Don't be afraid to also say, I need to do a little more research on that. And then I said earlier not to take it personally. Remember, it's business, not personal. Hard to understand. They may not be angry with you personally. They're angry with the product, or they're angry about not getting the results they wanted for the money they paid for the service. So, if you take it personally, you're going to get more emotional. You're risking getting more emotional or even angry. And that's when the situation becomes a little bit worse. So trying to take the complaint as a business opportunity, as a complaint with a service, because if you take things like that personally, it's going to break your spirit down a little bit and may negatively affect your own mental well-being. So try to stay as objective as you can. It's business, not personal. And always use positive language. Yes, absolutely, certainly, definitely. And, not trying to say things like, let me be clear, or for your information. So using language that, again, empathizes with the customer, makes the customer feel good. And then, your next thing, you want to try to resolve the issue, right? What is the workaround? Is there something you can do immediately to satisfy their needs? And if so, then let them know. If you can't resolve the issue immediately, then maybe set some expectations about when the issue will be resolved. So letting them know ahead of time. Oh, well, you know what? I can do this for you next time. And try to collaborate a little bit on it. Like, what would be the fastest way that we can get this resolved? And maybe even follow up with them and make sure that they feel like it's resolved. So, one of the things to think about is use this as feedback. If you have a team, share the situation with them, share these tips with them about, hey, if an angry customer or a dissatisfied customer or patient comes in, here are some steps that we can use to resolve that. But the thing is, they're going to vent their frustrations. Let them do it. Meet them with respect and patience and empathy to try to find a solution. And with these sorts of tips, hopefully you'll be able to turn a negative situation into a positive customer experience and help right away start to rebuild that relationship with your patient. All right, I hope this helped you. Thank you for listening. Again, I'm Dr. Martha Lucas. This is my podcast, 10 Minutes of TCM Training. And if you would like to learn more about teaching topics or Chinese medicine topics for practitioners, please visit lucasteachings.com. And if you're a patient or someone in the general public who would like to learn more about my practice, including my global treatments, you may visit acupuncturewoman.com or email me at drmlucas@acupuncturewoman.com. That's drmlucas@acupuncturewoman.com. So take care. And if you can, take care of someone else too.